Tensions between Russia and Europe are escalating once again. Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned that Moscow will respond in kind if European Union nations seize Russian merchant vessels as part of their sanctions campaign. The warning comes as the EU intensifies action against Russia's so-called shadow fleet, used to transport sanctioned oil. Russian President Vladimir Putin has issued a stern warning to European nations, saying Moscow will retaliate if Russian merchant vessels are seized under expanding Western sanctions. Speaking during a visit to Russia's Far Eastern Sakhalin region while observing major Pacific naval exercises, Putin described the seizure of Russian ships as piracy and banditry. He said Russia would respond in kind and made it clear that any retaliation would not necessarily be limited to the same waters where the seizures occur. The warning comes as the European Union steps up enforcement against Russia's so-called shadow fleet, a network of aging tankers accused of helping Moscow bypass Western sanctions on oil exports. Several European countries have increased inspections, detentions, and enforcement actions against vessels suspected of sanctions evasion. The maritime crackdown is part of broader efforts to reduce Russia's oil revenues, a key source of funding for its war in Ukraine. Putin also used the occasion to criticize NATO, accusing the alliance of expanding its military presence in both the Asia-Pacific and Arctic regions. He claimed NATO is creating new military blocs and deploying weapon systems that threaten Russia's security, remarks that underscore Moscow's growing concerns over Western military activity beyond Europe. The latest warning raises fears of further tensions at sea as Russia and the West continue to confront each other over sanctions, shipping routes, and the war in Ukraine. Any escalation involving commercial vessels could increase risks for global maritime trade and further strain already fragile relations between Moscow and European capitals. European leaders have not yet formally responded to Putin's latest warning. However, the European Union has maintained that sanctions enforcement against vessels linked to Russia's shadow fleet will continue as part of its broader strategy to pressure Moscow over the war in Ukraine.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.